PF and ESI settings. Under PF settings, you have an option to choose how should the PF be defined for your organization, or how should the PF be computed for your organization. By default, it is going to be 12% of basic because this is what most of the companies does. If you want to change this, you can change this as well. You can choose this to be 12% of the entire gross salary, which is basic plus special allowance, or you can even add a fixed amount as your PF deductions or contributions. So in that case, you choose fixed amount and add the amount, the annual amount that you want to deduct from your employee's salary and contribute towards your employee's salary as well. So that's 25,000. So 25,000 divided by 12 will be the monthly value of PF for both employee and employer in this case. But if you if you want to define a custom formula for that, you can choose the custom formula option and you can choose all the components that you need for the PF computation. For example, I'll take basic, special allowance, vehicle allowance, and new allowance. And instead of 12%, I can even make it as 14%. But I'm going to keep it as 12% to be standardized. So this is the custom formula that I have defined. So whatever you choose for employee will be the same for employer as well. So please keep that in mind. You also have an option to enable statutory minimum ceiling. If you do so, PF will be clocked at 1800 per month. The statutory minimum value of 15,000 rupees will be considered for the PF computation. 12% of 15,000, which is going to be 1800 per month. That's the maximum. You can also decide if the PF should be LOP dependent or LOP independent. That is also a toggle, so please choose accordingly. And you can include or exclude the PF employer contribution in the CTC. That is also a toggle. If you wish to include EDLI and admin charges, you can do that as well. That is also a toggle. ESI settings. And under ESI settings, you will have an option to choose whether the ESI employer contribution should be included in CTC or not. That is just a toggle. And you can even override ESI for an individual employee if required. There's nothing much to play with ESI because this is all standard and regular norms. If any employee's gross salary is less than 21,000 rupees, ESI will be computed, which is 0.75% of the gross for an employee, 3.25% of the gross for an employer. And in overview section, you will have an option to edit both PF and ESI at an individual level. You can also import employees ESI and PF details in bulk. If you click on import, you will get an option to download the Excel sheet in which you will put the data and import in the system. But let me show you how this works at an individual level. Let's say, for example, I want to edit PF for this employee Amarnath Singh. I'll just click on the edit button. I'll enable PF for him. I can add the PF number. I can add the PF joining date. I can add the UAN number, EPS number, and if I have enabled voluntary PF, I can add that as well. And if you wish to override PF for this employee, you can turn on this toggle and you can add the overridden value of PF for this employee as well. You can also enable PMRPY and ABRY if it is applicable and if you have registered your organization under that scheme. And at an individual level as well, you can enable or disable statutory minimum for each of your employees. Same goes with EDLI and admin charges also. You can also edit ESI for each individual employee. You can add the ESI number here. And if you wish to override ESI, you can add the value, you can add the amount that should be deducted from your employee's salary as an ESI. But I don't want to do any override because ESI is always the standard value, which is 3.25% for an employer and 0.75% for an employee. And after adding all these details, after validating the details that you have added, you can simply save that. So on saving, this will save or make changes for that particular employee. You can do the same for all your employees. You can bulk import that as well.